grey mullet is one of the most sporting fish to be found around our shores. But it's a fish that's surrounded by myth and ignorance, so much so that most anglers regard them as uncatchable, and few people fish for the species. In this film, we'd like to dispel those myths and suggest some methods that have worked for us. You join us at Christchurch. Having bought our permits and paid for the boat the day before, Mike and Dave Cooling load the spinning rods and tackle bags.
First time I've ever fished this place, which is the home of mullet spinning, really. I think this is where the method originated. Well, this is the type of thing we'll be using. It's a bar spoon with, instead of a heavy metal body, a set of plastic beads on it. And you can buy these, things called gen spoons, but this is one that I made up myself. There's several others, easy enough to make. You can buy the various bits, the blades and the beads and so on. And the idea is that the mullet is attracted by the spoon and then takes the bait. Neither the bait nor the spoon's likely to work on its own. So what you do is to slide the worm up on the big hook at the back here, and the little one just stops it sliding back down again. I'll show you more or less how to do that.
Is there a mullet?
Yeah. So we just slide him up over the eye of the hook and then nick the head of the worm onto the other hook. And I don't know what everybody else does, but I like to trim it off just at the bend like that, so that there's not much hanging for them to suck at, and they take it. So there you go. Hopefully that'll now catch me a mullet.
As the tide rises and covers the estuary mudflats, the mullet move in.
That didn't take very long, did it? Well, bugger thing, you can jump out and see what I'm doing. I'm using the rod that I use for most of my spinning. Perhaps it's a bit on the powerful side at a 1 3/4 test curve, but as you can see, even a modest thin lip puts a good bend in it. My usual spool of 8-pound line allows me to take a few liberties when I'm landing fish.
Going well, isn't it?
This is a typical thin lip. The obvious distinguishing features from the thick lip are, first of all, this very narrow lip here. In the thick lip, it's got lots and lots of little warty papillae on it, and it's much broader that way. And the other sort of feature really is the way that what they call its jugular interspace, that's this sort of space marked out by where the gills are, almost touches together there. In the thick lip it's open all the way along and more or less parallel sided, so they're the two easy things. It's also a bit slimmer in the body than thick lips are. But basically they look very much the same. Yeah, I'll put him back before it comes to any harm. Do you think the speed retrieve makes any difference, Dave?
I think probably as slow as possible is the best general rate.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
But I sometimes wonder if a faster speed could be used to encourage them to bite.
Yeah. They often seem to take it just as it turns up, don't they, at the end of your retrieve. I mean, that seems to be a good time to actually get a bite and hook one.
That's right. One of the complicating things is, of course, the faster you retrieve, the shallower the lure will fish.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of speed and depth.
I think the other thing is that sometimes if you wind very fast, the whole lot spins round, the worm and all. Sort of friction keeps the whole thing spinning. I don't think that helps much.
Makes a mess of the line on the reel.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most important thing to remember is that you may experience fish plucking and snatching at the bait on many retrieves. Even the most experienced angler finds it difficult not to strike. But more fish will be put off or lost by premature striking than anything else.
Shit.
The trick is to let these plucks develop into a bite that pulls the rod tip around. You must maintain a steady rate of retrieve, keep the lure working. Raise the rod slightly, and the fish will do the rest. About the same size like?
Yeah, near enough, Steve.
By adopting a mobile approach, we stalk the shoals of thin lips as they move upriver on the incoming tide. When a group of large fish arrive at one of their regular stopping off points, we watch their reaction as a lure is retrieved. Many show no interest at all, but some seem almost irresistibly drawn to the flashing blade. This nipping at the bait is typical. And then, success.
Ragworm was by far the most effective bait. Maggots and earthworms took a few fish, and rubber worms and other artificials, even when we laced them with lugworm and fish oil, proved useless.
To be honest, the size and colour of the lures doesn't make much difference to the fish, but a larger blade makes the lures easier to cast and control.